When it comes to Jack Reacher prequel novels, The Affair is definitely at the top of my list. There have been a few books where we delve into Reacher's past and get a story that takes place during his military career, but this one is special. Not only because it tells an awesome story, but because it chronicles the end of that military career and just how everything went down for that to come to pass. Now, before we get into spoilers, I'll just tell you that I highly recommend this book. It's one of my favorites, definitely in my top 10 Jack Reacher novels, in addition to being at the very top of my prequel list. Also, it's just a great Reacher story. It features an awesome mystery with twists and turns to the very end. And for me, one of the most memorable women in Reacher history. In addition to the mystery that is unfolding, this character keeps you guessing to the very end. So, Reacher heads down to rural Mississippi where a woman has been found dead, and the implications are that a soldier may be responsible for her killing. Essentially, Reacher is sent down there by the Army to try and guide the investigation away from the Army and help the Army save face by hopefully discovering that the murder was a civilian matter and had nothing to do with the nearby Fort Kellam Army base. Along the way, he meets the local sheriff, Devereaux, and the twists and turns do not let up until the very end. Fantastic story. Go check it out now if you haven't. Now let's get into some spoilers. So as I said, in addition to being full of awesome misdirects and several more bodies turning up in connection with the murder he was sent down there to investigate, we get some great stuff in this book that you really only get in a prequel story. Actually, first of all, I have to mention this. This is another one of the few Reacher novels that are told in the first person. As I've said before, time and time again, it's always an extra special treat when you read the first line and realize you're in Reacher's head. Anyway, this story in particular has some of the greatest callbacks, or call forwards, I guess, with all kinds of characters showing up that we know from books that take place later in Reacher's life. And at this point have had many adventures with him. And, we get a guest appearance in this book from Francis Nagley. We get references to Joe Reacher. We get Colonel Garber. I mean, this thing is jam-packed with the characters from Reacher's past. Some of them, and, from current Reacher stories who have long since passed. So it's awesome when you get a story that involves characters we can't interact with present day. That's one of my favorite things about this book. But as I said, characters from Reacher's past always turn up in the prequel stories, but this one is the best because the story told in this one, in my opinion, is the absolute best of the Reacher as a soldier stories. So the murder investigation, it just unfolds so well. The gruesome way these women were killed and the eventual discovery that the Army was absolutely involved with these murders. A very high-profile Army Ranger, in fact. And not only that, but he's a U.S. Senator's son. It's you can't get much better than this. Then you got Chief Elizabeth Devereaux, who's such an awesome character because you're not sure if you could trust her in the beginning. And then right as you start to really believe, she's one of the good guys, a giant cloud of doubt is cast, which makes you reevaluate the entire story. Man, this is some great stuff. Also, I'm pretty sure this book has the most graphic and sometimes uncomfortable sex scenes of all the Reacher novels, especially if you're listening in audio format and you hear the gruff voice of Dick Hill describing the sexual situations in detail from inside Reacher's head. Yeah, it's something. But to sum it all up, this is definitely one of my favorite Reacher novels. I've read it 3 or 4 times now, and I enjoy it every single time. I highly recommend. Top 10 for sure. Go read it if you haven't. All right. Now, I want to hear what you guys think of the affair. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with me that this is the absolute best prequel story? If not, tell me why. I love talking Reacher. I love talking everything entertainment and pop culture. So if you're into that sort of thing, then please stick around. Subscribe to the channel or favorite or follow Daily BS Podcast. And please come follow me on social media. I'm basically everywhere. You can find me at Real Brett Scott. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Share it with your fellow Reacher fans. And if you do decide to stick around and subscribe or favorite or follow, then I will talk to you again real soon. Thanks.